Hi guys, good morning and good evening. I hope you are able to hear me. Can anyone please confirm? Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to walk you through what we discussed in the last session. We have seen the different types of deployment models, and we are going to see as part of our sessions, we are going to come across the public cloud. One of them is the Azure. So we are going to see throughout the course Microsoft Azure. And in order to take the services from the public clouds, we will be having three different types of services. And even Microsoft branding their services in three categories. One is software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. And we are going to be part of platform as a service as part of the course. And when we can go for PaaS is where we discussed more in detail how exactly this SSIS project works and how we can do with Informatica project or Hadoop project. We discussed more in detail. If you're not joined at yesterday's session, please take the recorded session from the admin team. They will help you to get the more details about it. And we also seen in order to go for infrastructure as a service, to go for lift and shift mechanism, then you can go for this particular approach. That is IaaS infrastructure as a service we need to take if you want to lift and shift. And we have seen later how we can take the service from the Microsoft Azure. And in order to connect to Microsoft Azure to take the services, we need to use the portal.azure.com. And the process of taking the services from the Microsoft Azure or any cloud vendor that we can say cloud computing, and how we can set up the account with Outlook, how we can have a subscription that we came across in the last session. And today I'm going to take you through a little more details about the Azure. Okay, so let me open my portal. So let's go to the portal, portal.azure.com. So when you log into this portal, we already seen yesterday, but you can create a subscription on Monday. Okay, so do not create a subscription at this point of time because it's a at least you can save 2 days. Okay, for practicing. So 2 months are required for your practice in order to complete all this course. So this is the account that I'm having, and I have a subscription as a paid subscription I'm having, and I'm going to take the services. When you hit on this portal menu, then you can find there is a home, or you can find there is a all services. When you open this all services, you can find this categorize the services. All the IaaS services, PaaS services are available here. We have a AI and machine learning services, analytics services. As part of analytics, you can see our data factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Databricks. Okay, so we have analytics services as part of this, and compute resources, containers, databases. Like this, we have a various services here. So whatever we are going to be talking as part of as data engineer, I gave the list of services that I'm going to cover as part of the sessions. Now, if I wanted to take this service, let's say for example, I wanted to take ADF or I wanted to take Azure Data Lake Storage Center. So to take the service from the Microsoft Azure, to take service, so service, or we can also call it as a resource, we need to have the following items. So if you don't have this, then you cannot take any service. The very first thing is subscription. Subscription is required. If you don't have the subscription, then you cannot take anything. So this is the very, very important. And later subscription, we need to make sure to have a resource group. What is resource group? We are going to say. And once you have a resource group, then we need to take a region. So region means location. Region means location. And finally, we need to have a resource details. Resource means what? Service details are required. So in order to take the service from the Microsoft Azure, these are all the minimum things that we need to have it. So we have seen how we can have a subscription, free trial or paid subscription. And once you have a subscription, then how exactly we are going to handle, we are going to see. So when you take the service from the cloud, from Microsoft Azure, we are going to have account. So account is required, right? So I'm just going to say account. This account I can also call it as a tenant. So we have seen, we already created account, and in the account you'll be having multiple subscriptions. So depends on your requirement, you're going to have a subscriptions. So I'm going to say this is MG1. So this is management group. I wanted to say you'll be having multiple management groups. Why we're having multiple management groups? I'll give a brief idea about it. Management group 1, 2, and 3. Every account should fall under any of the management group. A default, you'll be having root management group, and this account is associated with the management group. Okay, something like this we are going to have. So when I open my account here, you can see so management group is one of the service. Management groups. So these are all the administrator activities, guys. So you don't need to have it. You don't need to know about all those things, but for better understanding, I'm just saying I have a tenant root group. Under tenant root group, I have only one subscription. So I can have a multiple subscriptions under the same resource, under the same management group. So here I'm taking, in this particular case, if you observe, under tenant account, I have a resource group. I mean, it's a management group. So by default, I'm having here is tenant root group. Instead of that, I'm just taking a generic name to understand. Management group 1, management group 2, and management group 3. Like this, as many number of management groups are required, that many groups are going to be created by administrators. You can create it. You can see it. So we are going to create a management group. You can provide the details and you can just submit it. So I don't need to create it. So here my intention is how this architecture is there when you go for the services. Under the management group, what you are having? Under the management group, I'm having a subscription. So we are going to have a subscriptions in this particular area. Let's say here I'm going to say subscription 1. Subscription 2 and 3. So because of the space, I'm just taking only a few number of subscriptions. This is 1 is fine, and this is 2. You can have a multiple subscriptions. This is 3, and this is 4. Now, I wanted to keep these 2 subscriptions in the management group 1. And here I'm keeping only 1 subscription. And here I'm keeping only 1 subscription. So like this, you can have it. I have two subscriptions under one management group. But when you see practical, when you see here, I have only one subscription. If you want to add a subscription, yes, you can add a subscription here. So you can give the name of the subscription and you can just go and add it. I don't need to add too many subscriptions because I'm already having one subscription. So under the subscription, what we are going to have is, I'm going to have a resource groups. Under the subscription, we're going to have a resource group, RG1. Let's say in my case, I'm just going to take as dev RG, dev resource group. So I'm going to keep 3 resource groups here. So this is a dev and this is, I'm just going to take a QA resource group or testing, anything is fine. And I have one more resource group, that is prod resource group. Okay, so I'm just giving RG1, resource group 1, resource group 2, and resource group 3. Any naming standard that you can, just for understanding I'm taking, basically we will be having resource groups depends on the collection of different services or depends on the environment, we are going to have a resource groups. So I'm having 3 resource groups here. One is dev resource group, QA resource group, and prod resource group. So here I have one resource group under this, and here also I have one resource group, and here also I'm having one resource group. So these things are mandatory. As part of this, to take a service, what we require subscription. So by default, your even default subscription also is part of your management group. So we don't care about management group at this point of time. And of course, we are not going to handle all this stuff. This stuff will be managed by administrators, Azure administrators. And then, finally, we have a resource groups. Under the resource group, you can take the services. Under the resource group, whatever the services you required, I'm just going to take this. To save the time, I'm just taking them. So you can keep this here and here, something like this. You can adjust them. So all are there is part of your resource group. So if you wanted to keep the resources, these are all the resources I can say. These are all the resources. Collection of resources we are going to have inside the resource group, and collection of resource group is going to be part of your subscription, and you're going to have a various subscriptions under one management group. Okay, so I'm just going to give a brief idea about it somewhere. Okay, so why we need to go for management groups? For a project, we will be having development, QA, and production. So we can categorize them. Depends on your requirement. You can categorize the services. For development, we are going to take a different kind of configuration. And for production, we are going to have a different kind of configuration. So for that reason, we are going to have a various resource group. Okay. So before coming to that, why we need to go for this hierarchy? Let's say, for example, you are taking the services from the bottom, but on top of this, we require resource group, we require subscription. These two are mandatory required. So to have this, why we need to have this hierarchy is because if I wanted to apply any policy, we are going to do this. Let's say, for example, there is a one policy I wanted to implement for all my subscriptions. This particular area. So if you want to apply subscriptions for this entire area, the same rule I need to apply for this, the same rule I need to apply for this, and same rule I need to apply for this. So if I apply a rule or if I apply policy at the subscription level, then you have to apply for all the subscriptions. So that is going to be time-taking process, and there is a more difficulties to handle it also. So for better governance, how exactly we used to do it is, instead of applying the subscription here, if you can apply if you can create a policy at the management group level, then automatically under whatever the subscriptions are available under the management group, automatically they are going to inherit the rules from the management group. Okay, so it will be better maintenance. We are going to get a better maintenance if you can apply a rule in this particular place. Let's say, for example, I'm just concentrating on the management group one. Wanted to create a resource or service within the East US region. If I don't have this policy, how we can create it? It's out of the boundary for us because we are not going to be part of it. Okay, so if I don't have the policy, I can create this resource in the East US, I can create this resource in the West US, or I can create this resource in the Central India, or I can create this resource in the Europe, or different location I can take it. So if I have a multiple persons to create the services, if I ask them to create the services, if they take the services from the different locations, then that is not the best practice. You have to keep the services in a specific location. Okay, so if I ask them go and create a resource only in the East US, at the time of creating, they may left that particular option. They may forget about to take the exact location. So to avoid this, what administrators are going to do is they're going to create a policy at the management group level. So if they create a rule, if they create a policy at this particular place, then automatically, I wanted to say here, created policy to take services from East US. If I have a policy here, what happens is, guys, these are all the actual classes only. Okay, this is not a demo. Demo is the first day only is happened. The continuation of the demo only it is. Okay. So if you can go through the content, you can see, you can understand. I already, in the last session, I took through the content. Now we are entering into the Microsoft Azure. In the Microsoft Azure, we have seen how the portal is there. Now we are talking about this management group, subscription, resource group, and resources. So this is the actual classes only. From the day 2, we are going to have a actual classes. Okay, so if they have a policy, if administrator is created a policy, then we are going to have only to take the service from the East US only. If you try to create a service from other different location, then ultimately it is not going to allow you to create. So for better governance, they're having the hierarchy here. Okay, so we have a central and state government, right? So if they have a policy at the central government, automatically all the states is going to be falling under the particular rule. Okay, so states also they have their own rules. At the same time, central also they are going to have their own rules. Okay, so how we can create a resource group? How we can create a resource group, and subscription we already seen how we can create it. The subscription is going to have, this is going to decide, you just go through this theoretical point, whatever I have explained, all those things are available for better access control, subscription inheritance, scope for governance. You can understand if you can go through these theoretical points. And again, we are not going to be part of management group. We are not going to create any management groups, or we are not going to create any services in reality. So for understanding, I'm taking you through this. If you can understand this diagram, that is more enough. And you just go through these points just one time, that is more and more enough. Now the subscription. Subscription is going to decide how much bill you are going to get. You have to pay some bill, right? So if you wanted to pay bill for your database, or if you wanted to pay bill for your ADF, then definitely subscription decides. Okay, so subscription only is going to decide how much bill you're going to get it. So without subscription, you cannot take the service from Microsoft Azure. So that is one of the point that we are going to have it. And again, you can just go through them. We have a resource isolation. I mean to say, if I take the ADF from here, and if I take the ADF from here, both ADFs are not same. Both are going to be isolated. They're not going to be part of one resource group, or they're not going to be part of one subscription. So here you can have a one data factory from the subscription one, and you can also create a one more service from the subscription too. So both are going to be isolated, and billing and cost management will be decided by the subscription. And again, access control also can do it. Resource limits and quota you can control with the help of subscription. So all this part again will be administrator's part. Now we need to know how we can create a resource group. So resource group is important for us, and we are going to have a collection of services. Whatever the services we required for our big data project, or whatever the services you required for your existing project, that services we are going to keep together in the one resource group. So basically we have a resource group based on the types of environments. Okay, so you'll be having development, testing, and production. So we have this kind of things, and some people, they will be having resource group hyphen databases, and resource groups hyphen virtual machines. All the virtual machines, they're going to keep it in one place. So depends on the situation you're going to have. But when it comes to our situation, we are going to have based on the development environment, QA, and production. Yes, billing will be generated for each and every subscription. Okay, bill will be generated based on the subscription. For this one bill will be there. For this one invoice, and for this one also, we are going to have a one invoice. So if you have a 10 subscriptions, 10 invoices you are going to get. And so I wanted to create a resource group. That is the first thing that I'm going to take you through here practically. But creating a resource group also in real time, that is not our activity. Most of the times administrators are going to take, we are not going to be part of it. So we need to know how we can take a service. I already told you, minimum 30% as administration activities also we are going to come across throughout this course, apart from the development efforts. So here, to create a resource group, from resource group we are going to do it. So resource group is a collection of, it's a container. Okay, we can say it's a container where we can keep collection of required services. We can create resource group with the two different ways. No one will ask you how we can create a resource group, but you need to be aware of it for practicing. One is by using resource group service, we can create. And second is by taking a resource, we can create it. While taking a service, we can take a resource, we can create a resource group. And while using resource group service also, we can create a resource group. Now I'm going to take you through one of them. Let's go to the portal. Once you go to the portal, you can just go to the home. I don't know what is the name of the service. Okay, so I clearly specified here by using resource group service. We have a service with a name called resource group. You can search in the Google, you can search in the global search of your Azure. So resource group, if I search, you can find there is a resource groups. So when I use this one, automatically it is going to enter into this particular area. I have already existed few resource groups are available, and I wanted to create a resource group. Now hit on plus create. When I hit on plus create, it is asking resource group name. So resource group name, I'm just going to provide here. A resource group is a collection of resources that share the same life cycle and permissions. Okay, so whatever the policies are there at the resource level, the same thing will be inherited for the services also. So I'm just going to say resource group is Bhaskar-dev is my resource group. So this is the name of the resource group I'm taking. And you can see here reason. So I'm having flexibility to change the reason because I don't have a policy at the resource at the management group level or at the subscription level, because we are not going to be part of administrator. So I'm not going to touch the policies and all. So here my intention is how we can take the appropriate resource group. I'm just taking Central India is my nearest location. I'm just taking that particular location. And you can also write a tag for to whom you are creating this resource group. You can specify the tag and value. And let's go for review plus create. Again, I'm saying creating a resource group is not our activity. We are not going to create any resource group in the real time. Now, as part of this note, I wanted to say one more way is there to create a resource group, that is by taking a resource. I wanted to take a resource. Resource means what? You can take a ADF, or you can take a ADB, or you can take ADLS. So I'm going to take a ADLS, and while taking the ADLS, I wanted to create a resource group. So at this point of time, inside this resource group, I don't have any service, but I'm going back to the home. In the home, you can search about your storage accounts. I'm going to talk about more in detail about the storage accounts. So at this point of time, I'm just concentrating on resource group. Let's take a storage accounts. There are many storage accounts are there under different resource groups. Now I'm going to create a service. I'm going to take a service. The service is Azure Data Lake Storage. I'm taking. Let's say here the name of the account. You can see here what it is asking. It is asking subscription here. It is star. That means it is 100% is required. And resource group is required. I wanted to create a resource group. If you want to create a resource group, you can create it. Or if you want to use the existed resource group, you can use the existed resource group. So I wanted to create a resource group while taking the service. Again, we don't create too many resource groups. Okay, so it depends on your requirement. You are going to have a resource groups. So by using this create new, we can create a resource group. I told you, resource group is a container that holds related resources for an Azure solution. Whatever the resources are required for your project, those resources only we are going to keep under the resource group. Now I'm just giving another environment, Bhaskar-Kive, I just wanted to say. So depends on the environment, I'm going to have a three different accounts, three different resource groups. Let's hit on OK. Now resource group is created, and I'm just going to take the service account here. Let's take some name. I'm just taking some name. It is already available. 321. Okay, not available. So you can take the service account name. Okay, so we have a separate sessions about to talk about the storage. At this point of time, my intention is we can also create a resource group while taking the service from the storage, while taking service from the Microsoft Azure. That is the main intention here. Now, just leave everything as it is. I don't want to touch anything. Just review directly. We are going to talk little more in detail about the storage later. Let's create it. Let's go to resource. Okay, so if you go to the back again, home, resource groups. Under resource group, we have created a Bhaskar Kive, right? Just now we created a Kive resource group. Under Kive resource group, I have a one resource. That is what we have taken now. So that means while taking the service, we can create a resource group, and without taking a service also, we can create a resource group with the help of resource group service. Okay, so now we are having the resource group. If you want to move the resource group from one subscription to other subscription, I think it is possible. Okay, so if they have such kind of requirement, administrators will take care about it. There is an option to move. You can move to another resource group or you can move to another subscription. That is possible. But again, this all will be administrator things. So we don't need to worry about it. Now we have done this resource group and the resource is there. And the next thing is the very, very important for us is we have seen the architecture of your services. This is the architecture of the services. I already told you what we are going to do with the Azure Data Engineering is we are going to do data storage and data processing. These two only we are going to do. Data storage and data processing. So we need to know how we can do the data storage in the Azure, and we need to know how we can do the data processing in the Azure. For storage, what services we are having. For data processing, what are the different services we are having that we are going to see. So in order to store the data in the Azure, I'm saying, in the on-prem, you may have a data in the database, you may have a data in the file system, you may have a data in different environments. But when it comes to this particular area, how exactly we are going to handle it, that we are going to see. So in order to store the data in the Microsoft Azure, we have two different types of storages. Okay, as part of the course, we are going to take with the two different types of storages. One is Azure Storage Account and other is Azure SQL Database. So if you want to store the data, okay, so storage account, I'm just going to say here. Storage platform. The storage platform may be anything. The storage platform is going to have a different kind of services to store the data. I can store the data in the platform as a service, and I can store the data in the infrastructure as a service. That means two different platforms are available in order to store the data. One is I can use PaaS service. I can use PaaS service to store the data. And I can also use IaaS. I'm just saying feasibilities. IaaS, SQL Server integration services we are going to have. So platform as a service. How you can store the data in the services of platform as a service, and how we can store the data in the services of infrastructure as a service. So when you go to platform as a service, we have Azure Storage accounts. Azure Storage accounts I'm having. And apart from that, I'm also having Azure SQL Server. I have a Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Synapse database. Okay, so I'll take you through Azure Synapse database, but I'm not going to take you through as part of this at this point of time. So you can use these two services. One is Azure Storage Accounts is one service, and another service is Azure SQL Server we are going to use to store the data. So when it comes to here, when it comes to the IaaS, you can have SQL Server, on-prem SQL Server. You can have MySQL. These are all on-prem. Okay, so I mean to say infrastructure as a service. If they are not on-prem, they are also part of cloud, but we are going to have a infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service, we are going to have it. So we are not going to be part of IaaS. You just ignore this. We are not going to be part of this. How we can set up this infrastructure and how we can install SQL Server, MySQL and so on is not going to be our activities. So if we have a data in the IaaS platform, how we can read the data from the IaaS platform is important for us. If we have a MySQL database in the IaaS infrastructure, and we need to know how we can read the data from this particular place. So that is more enough. If we know how we can read the data from on-prem SQL Server is same as taking data from IaaS infrastructure also. From IaaS platform also is same. So we are not going to be part of this particular area. So you can ignore. Here my intention is how exactly we are having storage platform in Azure. That is the main intention. And we are going to concentrate on the PaaS services because as part of the course, we are going to say Azure Storage Accounts and Azure SQL Server databases. And under storage accounts, I'll come to this once I complete Azure Storage Accounts, then I'm going to talk about Azure SQL Server later. So we are going to concentrate on this. First, try to see the service, how exactly the service is available. Let's go to the home. In home, you can see, you just search about the storage. You can see here, storage accounts is one service to store the data. As a data engineer, we should know how we can read the data from here and how we can feed the data into this particular place. We should know about it. Who is going to feed? Who is going to read it? We are going to use the Azure Data Factory to read the data and to load the data. We are going to use Azure Databricks to read the data, to load the data. So in between that, we are going to apply transformations. Various transformations we are going to apply. So that is the intention of this. So under storage account, under the storage accounts, we are going to have, again I'm saying, we are going to concentrate more on the storage accounts. And once that is completed, then I'm going to come to the Azure SQL Server database. So those are all the fundamentals. Okay, so the main thing is Azure Data Factory. Okay, Azure Data Factory is the main course, the heart of our data engineering. But do not think that Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 is not part of data engineering. Do not think. 100% it is part of Azure Data Engineering. Okay, so when you write DP203 certification, you are going to get many questions from the storages. Okay, so I hope you are following with me. By using Azure storage accounts, we are going to create two different types of accounts. Two different types of accounts we are going to create. Let me draw the line from here. That is Azure Blob Storage account. Azure Blob Storage account. I'm just going to oh my god. Okay, let me write again. I'll take the questions at the end of the sessions, guys. Azure Blob Storage. Azure Blob Storage account. And another account is that is very important for us. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 account is required. These two accounts we are going to create in our regular sessions. Okay. So again, this is not part of our main course, but Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 is the very important. This Azure Data Lake Storage is specifically created for big data processing. This is for general purpose they have created. Microsoft created this account for general storage, for general purpose. Created it for general purpose. So this particular account is that's fine. So this is created for general purpose. This is just for storage purpose they have created. If you want to process the data, this will not support to process. I mean to say you can process the data, but you cannot process the data parallelly. This is not designed for big data processing. The Azure Blob Storage account is not specifically designed for big data processing. So which one is specifically designed for big data processing is your Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 is designed for big data processing. So I'm going to say this is designed for big data processing. Designed for big data processing. So we are going to say how exactly it is going to be there and how can you say that is designed for big data processing? You can easily understand it. Okay, so these things we are going to concentrate more on this, and I'm just going to show you how we can create a Azure Blob Storage account. And again, more in detail, I'm going to talk in the next session. And what are the things that we are having under this particular area? The same thing you are going to have in the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 also. In the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 also, we are going to have the same thing. The only difference is designed for big data processing. The navigations is very much similar. The way you are going to create a storage account, in the same way you are going to create a Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 also. Then how we can differentiate, I'm going to talk about it. So for time being, let me create a storage blob account. Let's go to the portal. In order to create a service, I'm going to take my resource group is dev resource group. I'm going to create a service in the dev resource group. So when you open any service from the global search of your Azure, the frequently used services you are going to get in this particular place. So when you have already frequently used services in this particular area, you don't need to search it. You can directly navigate it to from here. So whatever it is feasible for you, you can go, and I'm just going to take the storage accounts. Let's take a storage accounts and plus create. I'm taking the resource existing resource group. Let's take a storage account name. The storage account name I'm taking Bhaskar Blob account. I'm just taking some name. I'm just taking here. All the characters should be in a lowercase. Okay, so all the characters should be in a lowercase. No underscores, no hyphens, no capital characters. And there are various options are there. Region, what happens, what is the purpose of this region, and what is the purpose of this redundancy. I'll give the clarity about them mostly in the next session, or after next session we are going to touch these particular areas. So I'm just leaving everything as it is. I'm not touching advanced. I'm just taking the default options in the advanced. I'm taking the default options in the networking and so on. Because this all will be taken care by administrators. And of course, there is a one property that we are going to touch in the advanced. I'll talk about it at this point of time. To create a blob storage account, I can directly go with only basic. I don't need rest of the options. Just leave them as it is the default. I'm just going to say review and create. So account is getting created. So we have come across the varieties of the data, structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data. So we can store all varieties of the data in the blob storage account also. Let's go to resource. So in order to store the data in the storage account, we have to create a container. Okay, to store the data in the storage account, to store the data in the storage account, any storage account it is. That may be blob storage account or Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, any account it is. Make sure there should be container. There should be container. Okay, so container is a root folder. So I'll talk about more in detail about this in the next session. Let's go here. There is a containers. And I'm just going to create a plus container. Okay, so otherwise let me give the details about this. Data storages we can do in the 4 different 4 different categories. One is containers, file sets, keys, and tables. These containers, we can also call it as a blob. So I'm just going to say here, blob. We can have a table. Can have a queue. And we can have a file set. In the storage account, you can have all these 4 different ways we can store the data. And storage is not only for data engineers. The storage is for everyone. Okay, so data engineers can use, machine learning developers can use, and application developers can use. Any kind of persons can use it. Okay, so these are all the different items that we are having it. So this blob, we can also call it as a container. Okay, and the same 4 different things are available even for the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 also. Here also we are having 4 different things. The only the difference is this is not designed for big data processing and this is designed for big data processing. That is the only difference, except that both are same. The way of doing is same, but behind the scene, behind the what we can say algorithms, they used in different approach, different kind of algorithms to do it. Okay, so I'll give more details about this Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, and this is a distributed file system. This is a distributed file system, and file is going to be distributed with different nodes. I'll talk about it. So to store the data in the storage account, make sure there should be container. As a data engineer, we are going to use only the blob. 99% is we are going to use the blob. In my experience, 100% I came with only blob. So blob means this one only. Okay, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 only we are going to use in real time. This is for general purpose. Blob storage account is for general purpose. You can keep the backup files. If you wanted to keep the backup files, then you can keep the backup stuff as part of this. But for data processing and all, we are going to store the data from the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Okay, so I'm just going to create a container plus container. I'll give again more details with the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. I wanted to give the name of the container is data files. So I'm just taking the container names, general naming standard, but how exactly the real time is going to be there, I'll take at the time of project. When I'm going to explain the project, I'm going to take the naming standard of the project. Let's hit on create. Now root folder is created. The root folder is what? Container. The name of the container is data files. Now I wanted to upload the file inside this container. To upload the files, so you can upload here manually. I'm going to do it, but in general, in real time, we are not going to do it manually. So some process is going to do it. Okay, some applications are going to store the data. For practicing, we are going to do manually because we don't have a process. Let's browse the file. I'm just going to take a customer. Let's open it. In the advanced, there is an option. If you want to create a folder, you can create a folder, upload to folder. The name of the folder, I'm just taking input folder. I'm just taking the name of the folder is input folder. Let's upload it. So in real time, we are not going to do anything in manual approach. We are not going to upload any file with manual. So everything will be done by the process only. Okay. So for time being, for just practicing, I'm just keeping the data in the container. Now I have the data here. If I wanted to read the data, you can read the data by opening this file. By opening the file, you can read it. And you can download this file. You can do whatever you want to do it with the help of this. Okay, so this is a storage like your file system. Here also you can store the data. The same data is stored in the CSV file. There also is the CSV file only. The same data, whatever the data is there here in my on-prem, the same is available in the cloud. So we are just started to talk about the storage. Okay, so in the next session, I'm going to talk Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. I'll give more details about this blob. Okay, so blob we are going to say as part of this. And table is not required, queue is not required, file share is not required. You can ignore them. You can ignore, but if you want, I will take you through this table at least, how we can create a table, but no one will ask you, did you read the data from the file? Did you read the data from the table, from the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2? We are going to read the data from the database table. That table is different. Database table is different. Table which is sitting in the Data Lake Storage Gen 2 is different. Okay, so that I'm going to take you through in the next session. So I'm stopping here. We are going to see more in detail and what are the different types of pricing tiers and redundancy. We are going to touch all these things in the next session. This is all important for doing certification, DP203. Okay, for interview, for working point of view, and as an Azure data engineer, they're not going to ask much more questions from this particular storages. Okay, so mostly from the DP203, there is a more chances to ask the questions. And of course, you need to know about all these things. Now, I'm going to take a question. There is a question from Pooja. Do I need to learn any other courses before taking Azure Data Factory? So you don't need to take anything. Basically, to understand the data factory, you require to know. There, I give that points also here. Yeah, the prerequisites to learn about this Azure data engineering is SQL basics and Python basics. These two things I'm going to take you through. You don't need to worry about it. So SQL basics is required for Databricks, and even Python basics are required for Databricks. And in some places, we are going to write in the ADF also. So SQL basics are required for ADF and ADB. So I'll take care about it. You don't need to worry about SQL, the prerequisites. Okay, building information, chart classes. Okay, so chart questions I answered. You can take the last two sessions, recorded sessions from the chart box. Okay, so just take that links and go through that, what we discussed. Of course, Databricks is going to talk with the PySpark only. PySpark style, we are going to take it. We are going to talk Databricks. The Databricks is going to have PySpark style. Can we go for 3 plus? You can go for 3 plus or 5 plus, even 7 plus also can go. I'll tell you how you can keep the profile. See, real-time example for policies, I told you, right? If you want to create a service, if I wanted to create a service only in the East US region, that is one example. And another example is, I wanted to restrict the compute. Okay. I wanted to restrict the compute for database. You're creating a database, but while creating a database, you have to take only this much configuration. I can restrict it. Okay, so how they are going to restrict is, that is administrator activity. There are many rules that you can implement it. And one more thing is, I wanted to remove the file if the age of the file is, let's say 3 years. I'm just giving some rough number here. If the age of the file is 3 years, then remove the file. I cannot go on each and every place and go and check what is the age of the file and remove the file. Is very difficult. So what you are going to do is you are going to create a rules. Okay, so to remove it, all those things will be administrator stuff. It is how many months of this course? This course is 2 months. Duration of this course is 2 months, and we are going to say one project. And freshers also can get a job, but you have to follow some instructions. I'll tell you, if you can follow that, even you can get as a fresher also, because these services are available even smaller companies and bigger companies as well. So the way you're trying to get the job as a fresher in Java or .NET, in the same way you can search for this also. Okay, so you cannot listen other voices, guys. You can listen only my voice, and I'm going to take the questions from your side. Give me a moment. I'll give a give a moment. I'm just going to give an option. Okay, so now you can raise the hand. I'll give to allow you to talk. You can talk to me. Can anyone talk? Able to hear me?
Hello, hello.
I'm able to hear you. Harish.
But I'm getting some echo noise from my side. Hello, hello.
Yeah, can you talk now?
Hello, hello.
Give voice from your side. Can anyone take others? Echo is coming. Can anyone talk now? I'm just going to give unmute for us to unmute. Harish, can you try now?
Hello, hello.
Can you try again now? I just changed some setting.
Hello, hello.
So we are going to provide the recording sessions. Okay, so already the last two sessions were saved, the links in the chat group. You just take from the chat group. You can take it the last previous sessions. In the Zoom chat, they have management provided. Let me take that. I think so. Everyone they already provided. Again, I'm just giving to everyone. Yeah. I'm going to cover. Okay, I'm going to cover all these 8 points. I'm going to cover, Haris. Logic app, we are going to use it for getting alertness. We are not going to work as a logic app developer, but we are going to work as a Azure data engineer, and we are going to use the logic app also as part of sending an alerts. So we are not going to get what we can say. Whenever there is a changes happen, then it will give a pop-up in the data factory. Okay, so do you want to go for new changes? Okay, so older changes will be there and the new changes also will be there, and that will be pop-up. And if there is any new preview or changes are there, then you can get to know that. We are going to have an idea about it. Can the screens The main course is Azure Data Factory and Azure Databricks. To work with the Azure Data Factory and Azure Databricks, 100% is you need to know about the rest of the services also. Without that, data engineering is not going to be happen. So we are going to do the processing. In order to do the data processing, we need to know the storages also. So source storages and target storages we are going to see. Yes, this is completely for Chinmaya. Like we are going to say it's completely job oriented training. It's not like theoretical kind of things. We are going to say, okay, so once you started doing practice, then you can understand. For just understanding, for one of the previous batch, I'm just showing here completely. We are going to take the situation and how we are going to do practically. We are going to see everything. I'm going to draw the diagram and I'm going to show you practically how exactly we are going to handle it. Okay, so this is how we are going to see. At the same time, and we are also going to do project. One complete project we are going to see from end to end. Complete 1 week we are going to see, we are going to be there in that particular area so that you can feel that is like a real time project. Okay, so we may not have too many calculations as like your live project, but the approach is very much similar. So that kind of thing I'm going to provide. We are going to give all the whatever I'm showing to you, that we are going to get. Either it is a data source or files or anything. Whatever I'm presenting to you, 100% is you're going to get everything. So you don't need to worry about it. Okay, so and profile, how we can prepare the profile, and I'll provide some sample profiles also. I took it from the Naukri account. Okay, so you can utilize those profiles also. So I'll help you all those things, even interview questions. I'll make it to prepare. Okay, so you don't need to worry about it. And if you can follow me, I'm sure you can easily crack the interview. Not even much more interviews. The condition is 100% you have to follow. Whatever I said practically, with single copy data activity itself, you can see here I have a multiple exercises here. So still we are having it. Okay, so with multiple approaches, completely it's a real-time approach. Okay, so somewhere I have just taken. This is one of the interview question that we came across it. how we can handle it. That we are going to see, practically we are going to see. Okay, so that you can easily understand the question. When the moment you get a question in any direction, you can give the answer if you know end-to-end concepts. Okay, and we're also having offline days. If you are interested, you can come in the offline. Someone asked in the chat, Ravinder or someone. So we have a offline in the morning. You can come in the morning for offline if you're interested. Please, any question? Okay, so I'm going to take.
Now it is audible. I think,
Yeah, now it is perfect.
Yeah, I think there is a problem from my side.
Yeah, not sure even from my side or your side. Yeah, please tell me now.
Yeah, actually, even a non-IT person also learn this ADF and ADP. Is there any
100%.
code knowledge?
100%. I'll make you perfect. Okay, so don't worry. I'm coming from non-IT background or a different kind of technologies. You don't worry. This course is designed for beginners to advanced.
Okay, like like I'm asking you, like everyone will tell you like that only. So okay, if you prepare my recordings or if you prepare this kind of course, you will get a job. But once we are getting to the real time, real time scenarios, that might be a different, and we can't able to handle those things. So is it also kind of thing?
No, it's not going to be like that. We are not going to write a code. If you take Azure Data Factory, it is completely user interface. Okay. So
Okay.
coding is required only for Databricks.
Okay. What
Okay,
type
so
of coding, like
like
any?
Python coding.
So we are, so no, we don't have a Python knowledge.
Don't worry, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you do same activity with Python, you can do by writing more number of lines of the code. But if you do the same thing with the Databricks, you can do with less number of codes, less number of lines. Okay. And if you do the same thing with the Data Factory, it's completely just clicks. We are not going to write any code.
Okay. Only we will use on data factory only. We write code or Databricks.
Databricks is coding. Data Factory is code free ETL.
Okay. Okay. So when we will get fully knowledge? Okay, after 2 months of training only.
Full knowledge you are going to get after 2 months. You can start searching a job. Even after at least 1 month, we can start attempting an interviews.
Okay. Oh, okay. The course will be completed by 2 months, or it will be completed by 1 month, and we can start the project or something like that.
2 months. See,
So
what is the content that we have provided here? This is going to be 100% covered. Along with that, additionally I added this. This is not part of the course because in some interviews they're asking, do you have a knowledge on this or that? So for that reason, I just added Azure Synapse Basics and Microsoft Fabric Basics.
Okay. Okay. So we'll use Agile Logic as like trigger purpose, not doing any development. Like
Which one? Logic app is for us. This is for only getting trigger.
For ADF and ADB like engineer, Azure
Yes.
data engineer.
As a data engineer, we are going to get alerts with the help of this logic app. Other than that, we are not going to use this.
Okay. Okay.
The scheduling and all we can take you through in the data factory itself. And Databricks also has its own scheduling, and you can do everything from the data factory.
Okay.
Okay, we can call the notebook Azure Databricks notebooks by using data factory. We can set up everything from there itself. So end to end, we are going to see.
Okay. Okay.
So once you finish the course, then you can feel we took the training in the right place, and once you go for working, we are not going to touch all the services.
Okay.
Okay, very few only we are going to touch, and you can easily understand how we can break the logic into the multiple pieces when we have understanding the requirement is also important in order to do all the stuff.
Okay, that kind of a real time kind of scenarios also you will explain.
Yes,
Okay, how we
yes,
can.
yes. I'm going to explain.
Okay.
Okay.
So actual classes will be
These are
will
all
be
the actual classes only. These are all the actual classes only. Okay, so see, as I said, these two are the main services for data engineering. But it
okay.
doesn't mean that we are not going to use rest of them. 100% we are going to use them. So when they are part of your Azure data engineering, they are all main courses. Sir. From the second day class onwards, they entered into the main course. The first is we just talked about what we are going to discuss in the first session. This is generic session. It is up to here. This is generic session. Here up to here. But from here we entered into this particular area. This is the main sessions that we are going to start. We already entered into this area.
Okay. I think we need a subscription for this. So we will provide subscription. So we need to give a mail ID
No,
or
we are
something.
not going to provide a subscription. I explained how we can create a subscription in the last session. We can have a
Freely,
free trial.
we can get it freely.
No, you need to have your own credit card to have subscription.
Oh my God, how much it would be
For 1 month, it's a free of cost. You don't need to pay anything for 1 month.
for one
Okay.
month? Okay.
The free trial is 1 month. And if you have one more credit card, you can create a one more subscription and you will get one more month. So 2 months more
Okay.
for free.
Okay. Okay. Just we need to give a credit card details. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly. And even let's say you're having only one credit card, go with paid subscription 1 month. Max to max you'll get only 2000 rupees per month.
Okay. Once we have finished the trial version.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
how we can actually? I have like Microsoft account with my laptop actually. So
Okay.
default it was open by taking the Microsoft account. How can I see that the subscription? Uh,
No, you have to create a subscription. But if you create a subscription with Microsoft account, not sure what happens. Better create your own personal account.
okay. Okay.
If you have a Microsoft account, you can directly go inside the portal, but you will not have access until unless you have a subscription. If you
Okay.
don't have any problem to create a subscription, then you can create your own subscription. You can provide your account details. If not, you can have personal account. Having personal account is the best practices
Okay.
because we are going to do our own stuff, right? So having it is the best of practice. And if you
Yeah.
wanted to, if they can give an access for your account, if you have a option to take the access, you can take access for practicing.
Okay.
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 If anyone having any question, you can still.
Is there any WhatsApp group so we can talk about questions or everything like that, or any?
We are going to have a classroom. Okay, so we are going to have it. We are going to have that. But you can check with admin team. They are the right persons to provide the details.
Okay.
I think, or if Or if they're asking about WhatsApp group, you can talk to them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Hello.
Kiran, please tell me.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm able to hear you, Kiran. Please tell me.
Yeah. Is there I was joined too late. Did you discuss anything about the fees details of this course or anything else like that?
No, tomorrow they will share the details. Okay, so
But actually, one issue with me is like I'm not getting any messages from the SIT team. Like I only joined
they will share.
like it was created and it was webinar.
Yeah, basically for first three sessions.
I think
Let me give answer to your
okay.
question. Let's say first
Yeah.
first
Sorry.
three sessions are like you don't need to pay anything. So for that reason they didn't say the details. So in the next session they're going to provide all the contact details, fee details. They'll keep it in the chat box. They will come in touch with you.
Okay. But I am not getting any messages from any of the admin team from Naresh IT. So that is why I got it.
No worries. From next session, you are going to get. They will come in touch automatically. After three
Actually, I
sessions.
think I was registered with like US member, I guess, but I'm not sure about that. So that is why I think I'm not getting any calls. Like I'm not able to attend the call even like because like I was not in India, so that is why.
Okay, so he is saying from admin RF they will provide on Tuesday. Okay, so they will provide it.
Okay,
Arif, can you talk to them? Arif, able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So they're asking like payment details or contact details.
On Monday, I will provide you all the details.
Yeah, Monday they're going to provide this.
On which platform, Arish? On which platform?
In Zoom chat box.
In Zoom only. They're going to provide the contact details and all, then you'll come into the contact.
Okay. And after this course, are we going to have like a group dedicated for if we are working and have issues, we can chat on that group and ask questions? Like job support after this program?
Arif, can you give the answer for that?
Yeah, job assistance will be provided.
All right, thank you.
Once your course completed, job assistance will be provided and necessity certificate also you will be provided. Okay? Management provided. There is nothing to worry about that. Thank you.
Okay. So I hope I answered many of them. Anyone else? Rohit, do you have any question? Raise hand.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Rohit.
Yes, sir. Fresher can apply this course for the data engineer.
We can apply. I'll tell you how we can get little more calls. Basically, in Naukri, we have a free subscription and paid subscription there also. Like if you can go for paid subscription, our profile will be highlighted. So you will get more calls. In that way, we can get it.
Okay.
Okay. So we can.
After this course, you will be provided a real life project.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We are going to say that everything we are going to say practically.
Okay. No issue. Only use of this course is Microsoft account.
Or with Microsoft account.
We need to Microsoft account.
Yes. So Microsoft account is Outlook account. Outlook is Microsoft account only. Our Hotmail is Microsoft account.
Okay.
Okay, so we have seen in the last session how we can set up account and how we can set up the subscription. Just go through that so that we can make it ready. I need an account on Monday. Okay, so till Monday, not required to create an account because from Monday session we are going to say little more practical.
Okay, no issue. Thank you.
Okay, so 2 months I need practice. So you need to
After
one
after
month
this
free
course, you
trial.
will be providing interview question and interview practice session.
Yes, I am going to provide.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, then I answered and I have it's more time now. So we'll see in the next session and thank you for that.